My name is Daniel McAllister, and after nearly 30 years working as a gravedigger, I thought I had seen everything. Difficult burials, desperate families, storms forcing me to work with rain slicing across my face, nothing surprised me anymore. At least, that's what I believed before I met the kid who changed my career forever and almost cost me my sanity. His name was Evan Turner, 22 years old, recently hired by the county, skinny, talkative, full of energy, the kind of kid who didn't seem to take anything seriously. On his first day, while I was showing him around the cemetery, I noticed Evan didn't have the respect that place demanded. He walked between the headstones like he was strolling through a park, kicked pebbles, whistled loudly. That already bothered me, but I had no idea what was coming. It happened during an exhumation. It was an official request, all legal. Move the remains of a man named Harold Whitmore to the family mausoleum. Nothing unusual. I had done it dozens of times. But that day, the atmosphere felt different. The sky was heavy, grey, and the wind seemed to push us away from the grave. I even told Evan, "Today, silence. Exhumation is not a joke." He laughed. "Relax, Danny. The dead don't care." Those words chilled me. But I swallowed it and kept working. When we opened the grave, something immediately irritated me. Evan started complaining about the smell, making stupid jokes, and even recording videos with his phone. I asked him to stop 3 times. On the 4th, I yanked the phone from his hand. That's when everything started going wrong. When we removed the coffin's lid, Evan laughed. A nervous, childish, completely inappropriate laugh. "Look at this man, it looks like the old guy's just sleeping," he said, poking the skull with the tip of his shovel. I had never yelled at someone that loudly in the cemetery. "Are you out of your mind? You don't touch the dead." He shrugged. "Come on, nobody's watching." But someone was. It didn't take more than 2 seconds for it to happen. The wind stopped, completely, like someone had shut the world off. Nothing moved. Not the leaves, not the birds, not the air. Silence fell heavy and brutal, and I felt the same pressure in my chest that I'd felt years earlier when I heard voices coming from underground. The same kind of presence, the same kind of warning. Evan, finally noticing the change, looked around. "Hey, what the he?" He didn't finish. The ground behind him sank, as if something had pulled downward. There was nothing there, no roots, no old grave, nothing loose, but the soil gave way, and Evan fell backward, hitting his head. I ran to help, but stopped halfway. He was staring at something behind me. His eyes wide, his mouth open, frozen. "Daniel, someone's standing there." I turned slowly, my heart pounding, and I swear on my life, there was a shadow between the headstones, not a person. It didn't have a solid shape. It was like a patch of darkness thicker than the rest of the world. It didn't walk. It slid, and stopped right at the edge of the open grave. The air got so cold it felt like it was slicing through my lungs. Evan started shaking, muttering nonsense. And then, like he had been shoved, he fell again, this time into the grave. His scream echoed through the entire cemetery. I jumped in and dragged him out with everything I had. He came out convulsing, with deep scratches on his arms and chest. Marks like fingernails had clawed him, but there was no one in the grave. After that day, Evan never returned to work. In fact, he was never the same. His mother came to see me weeks later, saying her son woke up every night screaming, say sorry," as if something was punishing him. I didn't tell her that on the night of the exhumation, before passing out, Evan repeated the same thing. They're angry at me." I quit the job not long after, not because I was afraid of the cemetery, but because I realized that sometimes the greatest danger isn't the dead, but the living. And that disrespecting what rests in silence can awaken things none of us are ready to face. To this day, when I close my eyes, I remember the wind stopping, that motionless shadow, and the whisper I heard before dragging Evan out of the grave. He touched what he shouldn't have.